participation, so they've designed the entire platform around just making it as smooth and accessible as possible.
Okay, so let's actually jump into their website. It's incredibly user-friendly. You
Yeah.
land on the page, and boom, every state.
Yeah.
Listed alphabetically, ready for you to click and find your voting station.
And it's not just about finding your polling place. The site caters to a wide range of needs. Whether you're an individual just looking for some information, an organization wanting to partner with them, even someone curious about just their mission and their impact, it's all laid out in a really clear and intuitive way.
I think we all just kind of think, oh, vote.org, that's the polling place website.
Right.
But there's actually so much more to their mission.
Absolutely.
Right.
Vote.org is a 501c3 nonprofit, meaning they're driven by their mission to remove barriers to voting, not by profits. And they offer this whole array of free online tools that individuals and organizations can integrate into their own websites. So imagine you run like a local community center. You can embed Vote.org's registration tools right on your site, making it super easy for your members to check their registration status or even register to vote right there. So it's all about meeting people where they are.
And it's not just about offering those tools. It's about understanding how they're being used. Vote.org is incredibly data-driven. For example, they found that sending personalized text message reminders to first-time voters actually increased turnout by a significant 3%. So they're constantly analyzing data and refining their strategies to maximize voter participation.
And for groups that need even more specialized features, they have Vote.org plus ONI, this premium suite of tools, offering things like supporter acquisition, meaning organizations can track how many people visited their site. Through Vote.org links and ultimately registered to vote, they can measure traffic, even collect data to optimize their get-out-the-vote efforts.
So it's like they're not just providing the tools, they're helping you become a voting engagement expert. But let's not forget about their social media presence. Vote.org is all over platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, constantly putting out election information in those bite-sized, shareable pieces.
It's about removing the excuses. No more, I didn't know where to find information, or I forgot to register. They're making sure accurate and up-to-date information is readily available in places where people are already spending their time.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this first section. We've seen how Vote.org makes finding your polling place super easy, but we've also kind of started to uncover the depth of their mission and all the incredible resources they offer.
Yeah.
It's not just about telling you where to vote. It's about empowering you to participate in that democratic process.
Absolutely. And I think that's what's so important. Vote.org recognizes that voting is more than just showing up on Election Day. It's about removing those barriers that prevent people from fully participating in our democracy.
It's really fascinating how they're constantly adapting to, how people get information these days. But it's not just about like getting the word out. It's about ensuring that the information itself is accurate and accessible. I remember back in college, I almost missed the registration deadline. I couldn't find clear information about the process. It was incredibly frustrating.
Yeah.
And it made me realize how easily people can get discouraged and just give up.
Exactly. And that's where Vote.org's dedication to, clarity and simplicity, it really shines through. They take complex election rules and procedures and they translate them into digestible, user-friendly language. They're not throwing legal jargon at you. They're meeting you where you are in your understanding of the process.
And doing it all as a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Which I think, really speaks volumes about their commitment to the mission, right? They're not beholden to any political party or agenda.
Sure.
Their focus is just making voting accessible.
Precisely. And their commitment to transparency and data-driven decision-making. It further strengthens their credibility. They're constantly analyzing data, tracking the impact of their initiatives, refining those strategies to maximize voter turnout. It's not just about throwing ideas out there. It's about carefully measuring what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, it's really impressive how they're using data not just to track their own progress, but also to understand those broader challenges. For example, they found that during the 2020 election, Vote.org played a key role in increasing youth voter registration by a whopping 12%.
Wow.
So they identified this specific demographic facing these barriers and tailored their outreach efforts to address those specific challenges.
And that's what's so powerful about their approach. They're not just tackling the surface level issues. They're really digging deep to understand those systemic barriers that prevent certain communities from fully participating in our democracy. So they're advocating for policy changes, working with local organizations, and using their platform to amplify the voices of those who are often marginalized.
Yeah, it's like they're not just helping individuals vote, they're helping create a more inclusive and representative democracy.
Right.
It's about making sure that everyone, regardless of background, income, zip code,
Right.
has that equal opportunity to be heard.
Exactly. And that's where the real impact lies. It's not just about checking a box on a ballot. It's about empowering every citizen to shape the future of their community and their country. It's about recognizing that voting is not just a right, but a responsibility, a collective responsibility to create the kind of world we want to live in.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Well, it means you have this powerful ally in your corner, ready to equip you with the knowledge and the tools you need to be an active and engaged citizen. So don't let those complexities of the voting process intimidate you. Vote.org has broken it down step by step, making it easier than ever to make your voice heard.
And remember, voting is not a solitary act. It's about joining this collective movement, a force for change that can shape the direction of our society. So by using those resources provided by vote.org, you're not just casting a ballot, you're becoming part of something much bigger.
So are you ready to dive in and explore everything Vote.org has to offer? Head over to their website, explore those different sections, discover the tools and resources that really resonate with you, find your polling location, double-check your registration, and maybe even explore ways to get involved in their mission.
And don't stop there. Share this information with your friends, your family, your community. Encourage them to visit vote.org, arm themselves with knowledge, and join this movement to strengthen our democracy.
It's funny, I used to think that just knowing where to vote was the biggest hurdle
Right.
to actually getting people to participate in elections.
Mm.
But after, learning more about Vote.org and their mission, it's clear that there are so many other obstacles that people face.
Yeah, it's like peeling back the layers of an onion, right? You start with this seemingly simple question of like, where do I vote?
Mm.
And then you just uncover this whole intricate web of these systemic barriers that can discourage or even prevent people from exercising their rights. Well,
You mentioned earlier how Vote.org's data analysis
Mhm.
showed that those personalized text message reminders boosted turnout, especially among those first-time voters. And I think that really highlights how sometimes the simplest solutions can have such a profound impact. But what about those deeper, more systemic barriers? What are some of the things that Vote.org is doing to address those?
Well, they're actively involved in advocating for policy changes that promote voter access and fairness, for instance. They've been very vocal in opposing restrictive voter ID laws that disproportionately impact minority communities and low-income individuals. They also work with local organizations to provide like voter education and outreach, particularly in communities that have historically faced barriers.
It's inspiring to see how they're not just focusing on
Yeah.
the technical aspects of voting, but also on the social and political factors that can really influence participation. It's about creating an environment where everyone feels empowered to vote.
Absolutely. And let's not forget about this whole issue of misinformation, which can just like sow confusion and erode trust in the process. So vote.org plays this vital role in combating that misinformation
Right.
by providing accurate and up-to-date information through their website, social media, and partnerships.
So it's clear that they're doing incredible work. But it's also important to remember that they can't do it alone. Creating a truly inclusive and accessible democracy requires like a collective effort.
So what are some things that we as individuals can do to contribute?
Well, first and foremost, educate yourself. Take the time to understand that voting process. Research those candidates and issues. Make sure you're registered to vote. And then spread the word. Talk to your friends and family about the importance of voting. Share accurate information about deadlines and procedures, and encourage them to use those resources provided by Vote.org. And if you're feeling really inspired, consider volunteering your time or donating to organizations like Vote.org, who are working tirelessly to make voting more accessible. Even small actions can make a big difference.
Yeah, remember, a healthy democracy, it thrives on the active participation of its citizens. So by working together, by educating ourselves and each other, by advocating for positive change, and supporting organizations dedicated to this cause, we can create a system that truly reflects the will of the people.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Vote.org, we hope you've gained not just, a deeper understanding of this incredible organization, but also a renewed sense of purpose and empowerment as a voter. Don't let those complexities of the system discourage you. Take advantage of those resources available. Engage in those meaningful conversations about the issues that matter to you. And most importantly, make your voice heard.
Because in the end, it's not just about casting a ballot, it's about shaping the future we want to create together.